Hi, I'm Mishti Max, and here we go with another Get Ready With Me. I was going out to the movies to see Interstellar, and I thought I would do a Nebula-inspired makeup look. I also took the excuse to play with my new Sparkle Baby palette from Sugarpill, and have some more fun with the Urban Decay Electric palette. And here we have Liftoff. First thing, as always, I prime my lids, and I'm using Too Faced Shadow Insurance today. Then I'm whipping out my Naked 3 palette and using the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush to take limit and apply it to the general crease area without being too precise about it because this is my transition shade. Then for a gold base, I'm using an Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On pencil in El Dorado and applying it to the center of my eyelid. I am using my most useful finger and blending out the pencil on either side to help it merge into the next color I will be using, which is another Urban Decay eyeliner pencil, and this one is in Woodstock. I'm applying this pink pencil on the inner and outer thirds of my eyelids and blending with my finger as I go. I am intensifying the gold on the center and making sure the pencil bases are seamlessly blended. Now onto my new Sugarpill Sparkle Baby palette, and I'm using a new Sigma Firm Shader E57 brush to grab Hotsy Totsy and apply that over the pink base on the inner and outer thirds of my lid. I am taking that just up to the crease as I did with the pencil layer. Then with the other side of the same brush, I am taking Kitten Parade from the Sparkle Baby palette and layering that over the gold base, covering the center of my eyelid. This shadow has a coral base with golden undertones, and the pencil is bringing out that gold shimmer very nicely. I am using that Firm Shader brush to blend between the Hotsy Totsy and Kitten Parade, rubbing my brush over the separation line between the two colors and adding more of the shadows overlapping that area to get a great blend. I am also taking some of that pink shadow up into the crease. Now onto another Sugarpill palette called Heartbreaker, and I'm using the Sigma Exact Blend E32 to pick up Poison Plum and taking that into my crease. First, I'm mapping out the shape I want and dabbing on the color with the end of the brush. I'm applying it to the inner and outer edges of my lid as well as the crease, and I'll worry about blending it out properly later. I'm just getting the depth of color I want here and making sure to darken up the Hotsy Totsy on the lid too. I'm using the Exact Blend to buff out the edges of Poison Plum, and then I'm going back to the Naked 3 Limit and the Deluxe Crease Brush to soften the edges of the crease. Then I'm taking some Strange from the same palette and applying it to my brow, blending it down to highlight and help buff out the crease too. I'm going back to Poison Plum to deepen up that crease and get the pigmentation I want back. I'm taking some more Hotsy Totsy on the Firm Shader brush from before and blending it with Poison Plum to add more pink tone there, and then brightening up the center of the lid with Kitten Parade as well. Between shadows, I'm just wiping off the brush on a towel to make sure I don't make the colors all muddy. A sassy little trick for you there. Now I'm going into the Urban Decay Electric palette and grabbing Jilted to add some pinky purple shimmer to those inner and outer corners of the lid. I wanted more shine and something to pick up the blend of those shades there and intensify it. I'm touching up the lid some more with Kitten Parade, making sure it was bright and fading beautifully into the edges, and then going in to intensify the crease with more Poison Plum to bring back that awesome deep purple color. And also getting some extra limit to get it to fade out towards the Strange on the brow bone, making good use of that Exact Blend brush. This is the first time I'm using it, and it rocks quite well for an intense but buffed out crease shade because it can pack on color and soften the edges damn good. I dug out my deluxe palette and excitedly picked up some fishnet to bring out the purpleness and shine, merging the lid into the crease. And used Jilted again to fade that in properly, plus spritzed up the center with Kitten Parade. Sliding out more Woodstock for the lower lash line, I ran that on the inner and outer thirds, plus some El Dorado for the center to mirror the top lid. And I smudged that with my Digit for a soft approach. I used the tip of the brush to grab Kitten Parade and Hotsy Totsy to set those pencils. I buffed the shades quite low down and also blended some fishnet into the purple sections, especially the inner tear duct. Now I'm using the Physicians Formula eyeliner pen to line along my upper lash line in a thinnish line with no wing, but just enough to darken up the lashes and thicken the outer edge. And I added a touch of fishnet on the edges to blend the outer line. I'm giving my lashes a good curl, and I'm using my standard CoverGirl Clump Crusher and layering on a few good coats to the top lashes and taking it to the bottom lashes too, making sure the ends don't schmutz under my eyes. I'm letting loose a makeup wipe to the fallout under my eyes and on my cheeks, cleaning up the shape of the eyeshadow a little too. I went for some black on my tight line using Inglot AMC Gel Eyeliner in 77 and the end of this pointed cotton bud to smear the gel liner all up in there. This helps to thicken up the roots of the lashes too, and you could even forego the upper eyeliner and just use this for a similar but more subtle effect. I decided on Rimmel's Scandalized Pencil in Nude for my lower waterline to open up the eyes, and at the time I wasn't sure whether I should do black there or skin tone, but I was happy with the way it turned out. Onto the brows, I used Benefit Browsings in Light, running the wax side through my hairs, giving that a little comb, and then setting it with the powder side, using the midgy little brushes that come in the kit. And I used Benefit Gimme Brow to slide those hairs into place. It's the same old deal for my face with Benefit Professional, then Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation in 51 Light Vanilla, and for a light finish I sprayed my brush with some MAC Fix Plus to sheer it out as it was super hot. And after I buffed that in with my Sedona Lace 928 flat top brush, I covered up my dark circles with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15 and smeared the excess over the center of my face. Then I set all that with my fancy Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Light with the Sigma F40 Large Angled Contour Brush. To get a good eyeshadow fade, I used some more Strange on the Deluxe Crease Brush to buff around the edges. Then I grabbed my NARS blush and used the Real Techniques blush brush to apply Orgasm all over my cheeks, along my cheekbones and up to my temples. This shade really brings out the warm tones on the eyes. And for some more golden tones, I used NARS Albatross Highlighter with the Haku Hodo S113 Highlight Brush and swept that onto the tops of my cheekbones and around my brows for a delightful golden glow. To set that shit up so it doesn't move anywhere, I spritzed myself thoroughly with Urban Decay Makeup All-Nighter Setting Spray. I removed the foundation off my lips, then primed them with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base. I took NYX Slim Lip Liner in Purple Rain and proceeded to scribble over my entire lips. I got as much color on there as this pencil allows, and then defined the outline of my lips to prepare them for the MAC lipstick in Violetta, which is this awesome purple shade with a touch of sheen and a pinkish tone, and as you see, I applied this on top of the pencil. Then I finalized the outline and neatened up my lips with the pencil once again, and then removed the excess lipstick from between my lips with a cotton bud. I grabbed the beautiful Illamasqua Intense Lip Gloss in Boost and applied it all over the center of my lips to give more of a bluish shine. I saved my teeth from lipstick and lip gloss disaster once again by sucking on this cotton bud. I added a touch more albatross to my cupid's bow and the center of my face, and that be it. Nope, apparently I went back in with fishnet on the inner corner, and then to really brighten up that area I used MAC Vellum eyeshadow and intensified the bluish flash there too. And I blended the edge out with the Deluxe Crease Brush to make it nice and smooth. For some final touches, I took Poison Plum and darkened up the outer lower corner. I buffed that out with some Strange on the Deluxe Crease Brush. And to add some more of that magenta tone, I applied some Jilted over the inner and outer corners, and then I was finally satisfied with the makeup. So there you go, a nice shimmery bright halo eye with complementary colors. I really love the way purple tones and gold or orange tones look together. It goes without saying that I like a bold eye with a bold lip, because for me balance is making your eyes stand out as much as your lips. And as you can see here, I did my nails with duochromatic polishes from Glitter Gal Australia. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Get Ready With Me makeup tutorial, and subscribe for more videos.
Click the little boxes if you want to see other tutorials of mine.
For more Social Mishti, check the description box for links. I'm Mishti Max everywhere, and I'll see you there. You can also find my podcast and band's music on iTunes.